Hey guys, and welcome back to Alliance War Season Wars with the Interceptor. So today we are here with War 1 of Season 25, and D69 has matched Agent Graphite yet again. We matched them War 4 last season, we matched them War 11 last season, we matched them War 1 of this season, which means 3 out of the last 10 wars, I believe. Might have been 9, I think it's 10. But yeah, the defense is pretty similar to, well, it was just 2 wars ago in season that we faced them. They placed Dragonman Boss to protect that time. And normally I actually play the game in French, but I always switch it back to English for streams and recordings. I forgot. So I think all of the fights today are in English, but joining is in French. But also you guys will notice that all of the videos for this war, they all have no audio. So it's just going to be my voice the whole video, and I'm sorry about that, but I recorded a video last week where I turned on the microphone for screen recording, and if you guys saw my my tier 5 CC opening, that is that video. So in this war, unbeknownst to me, while I was recording, I was also recording myself. So all the background noise, and while I do war fights, I was playing music, and the music is all copyrighted, so I actually can't include that, and I couldn't find a way to edit out only the microphone audio and leave in the game audio, so I just muted everything. So yeah, we're taking in the team of Quake, Warlock, and Magic, so this is a team I'm very, very comfortable with. I actually was scheduled to have 2 fights with Magic, and I ended up pawning one of them off to my Quake because I knew she could do it as well. But yeah, the first fight, this is a rank 3 6-star Captain Marvel movie, and this is the first node of Path 2, which is the Fury Counter-Strike, or Fury Counter. And Quake just bypasses that if it's on the first node or on the mini boss. She can't do the second fight because of brute force. You can Quake Mystics on that node, but you can't Quake anyone else. So yeah, pretty straightforward fight. I guess there's some champions that you could theoretically Quake, like champs that give you debuffs over time, like Airwalker. Maybe you could maybe Quake Airwalker on that node. I'm not sure, but it's not a good idea. You should just send a Doom if you see that placement. But yeah, this is a rank 3 6-star Weapon X on the second node, and I do use a Power Start 1 boost. I don't have many left, but I've done this fight with a Power Start 1 boost, and I've also done it in season without a Power Start 1 boost, and the difference approximately on how many Furies he gets throughout the fight is just, the difference is so massive. So with a special 1 boost, he maybe gets like 2 or 3 maximum, and he could be 0. He could be at 0 if I threw my special 2 at the perfect time, but he was just really, really defensive there. And we do have on tech boost, so we get right to another L2. We clean him off. We only took a few blocked hits, so I'm pretty happy with that. But the hardest part of that fight is after he activates his Unstoppable, intercepting once it expires before brute force comes back. But it's not that hard. Like I was saying, the difference is with a special 1 boost, he gets around 2 to 3 Furies max, and without it, he gets around 10 to 12. So that's just, it's a big difference, and if you have a special 1 boost, I'd recommend using it. So this is, once again, the Fury Counter, and this is going to be Corvus on the mini. This is by far the most common placement for Corvus and on this node. But Corvus just goes heavy crazy in this fight. He is going to throw 2 heavy attacks into me while I'm quaking. Usually the opponent throwing a heavy attack into you is something that happens once every 3 to 4 fights, I would guess, on average. But this guy, he does it twice in 1 fight. So I am going to get clipped by 2 hits this whole fight. And I'm going to lose a decent amount of health because, of course, they're guaranteed crits. But the first one was just the second hit of his heavy. And right there, I dex the first 2. and I thought I started charging heavy fast enough to evade the third hit. I guess I didn't, because it hit me clearly. So I'm down to 70%, and you're never going to kill Corvus if you just continue to Quake like that, because he's just going to survive infinitely, so you do have to drop a heavy to kill him. And then Ali Bra there, he's actually the one that's going to give me white mags pre-fights for both for Doom and for Mole Man. I'm taking these 2 fights right here, but this is a pretty simple fight with magic, but I'm actually going to use Quake for it. So the reason we have never used Quake for this in the past was the risk of getting shocked and then him throwing a heavy attack. You lose a lot of health. And in this fight, we actually are going to get really, really unlucky, and we won't be able to prevent the shock. It's very possible. In fact, in the second war of this season, so the next war that's coming out, it happened earlier today, technically that fight happened last night. I actually do it perfectly, but right there he just didn't hit into me while the timer was there, and then right there he does 4 hits and then he gets stunned, which makes me throw off a heavy, but I just get my dex back from him throwing his L1. So we did lose 14% of the health. That is from 2 blocked hits as well as from 1 shock debuff. So we're still pretty healthy, but obviously it could have been a lot better. When I do this fight tomorrow, I think, or whenever the second war comes out, I think I'm going to just speed through it. I'm not going to show like the full fight in regular speed, just because next war I have a lot more fights and a lot more Quake fights than I do this war. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward, this fight. From here on out, it's just normal Quaking. Just don't drop your heavy. If you do drop your heavy and it's during concussion, you won't get shocked. You just have to activate Dex again before the concussion expires, and then you're completely fine, no harm done, because Mystic Dispersion is actually prevented by ability accuracy reduction. So if you lose your Dex during concussion, no Mystic Dispersion power gain, unless the opponent's immune to ability accuracy reduction like long shot, or if you have an excessive amount of buffs and it's only a percentage chance. For example, the matchup of Magneto versus Doom, you can still get can still have the power gain activate, because it's not 100% ability accuracy reduction, but Quake's is 100%. So you will always prevent it. So that fight does take a little over 2 minutes. I do think Torch, if played perfectly and the AI is perfect, is probably the best counter. But if you're looking for someone that's super consistent with no risk, and you're able to cancel the shock like I will in the next war video, then Quake is the option you want to go to. So you guys have seen this. This is a rank 3 Mole Man. I've taken this fight before with Warlock. It's very, very easy, and I think I actually mess up in this fight and I take a few hits, if I'm remembering this correctly. Maybe it's the next war. Yeah, I think it's the next war that I mess up this fight. Mixmaster, not Mole Man. It's a Professor X on Mixmaster next war. But it's a very straightforward fight. You never have to worry about him shrugging off. So this guy is running willpower. You guys won't even notice that, actually, until he goes into frenzy, because when he's in frenzy, he actually will not shrug off any debuffs. So I'm going to get stuns, bleeds, armor breaks, weaknesses from resonate. I'm going to get 4 different debuffs on him, and you guys are going to see his power go really low. But yeah, we're still at 100%, so we're absolutely shredding this fight. We're throwing special 3s in this fight for the regeneration. The special 2 is a valid way to go, but you're not going to get the armor breaks. And I am running tech boost because I'm taking this at the same time as I took the last fight, but still not worth it. So right here, I notice he goes into frenzy, so I'm free to throw off my L2, and you guys will notice his power bar going down. So I could have gone for a heavy attack while he was in the corner there, but if he had stand your ground, he could have parried me. So that's the only reason I didn't. And right there, I just forgot Mixmaster exists and completely fucked up. I don't know what I was doing there. But yeah, he's going down pretty fast. We always have a debate on whether to use Apocalypse or Warlock for this fight, and there are benefits to both. I personally believe Warlock is considerably safer for this fight compared to Apocalypse, mostly because of the regeneration and the block proficiency. Warlock has way, way better block proficiency, especially with the armor up buff, than Apocalypse does. But the benefit to Apocalypse is, let's say you had 2 fights with Apocalypse in Section 1. You weren't able to bring the cable synergy, so you're up to 3 charges. You just want that 4th charge to make maybe one of your champions, or maybe you're helping someone else out by making their champ a horseman. This is a very good fight to ramp up an Apocalypse on. It's a pretty simple fight, so yeah. And you don't need the White Mags pre-fight. And we are going to be going to the right here because we're also taking this. Wow, I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights in the same boost. That's pretty nice that I was able to do that. And this is going to be long shot on encroaching stun. So this is a very, very simple magic fight. There's always talk about how Torch is the best for this fight. I personally believe magic is actually the best because the last 4 times we've seen long shot, I've sent myself with magic once, which is this war. And the other times, I've sent rank 3 torches. Now, the fight has been soloed by Torch 1 out of 3 times. Only 1 time. One time, he got him 30% down, and another time, he got him 70% down. Almost got the solo. But we are 100% with magic against this fight. We've only done it once. But if we were to use magic for this fight, it would always be me. So I'm not even slightly worried about this. I know I just need to time the encroaching stun. We do it right there. And there was absolutely 0 risk in this fight, especially when I knew I could play really ballsy. I think I go for a few intercepts later on. Oh, maybe not. Maybe the fight's already over. Yeah, 1 more L2 and this fight's over. Never mind. I was going to say, this is Magic's only fight, but there you go. It's over already. So very easy. 69 hits for D69. And now we're going to be skipping ahead to the mini-boss island. So I'm going to be taking 4 fights here. I'm taking the 1st and the 3rd mini-boss on the right side of the boss island, and then I'm also taking my 2 fights on path 8. So I was kind of not really sure where to send myself in section 3, section 2, but this path was pretty simple with the champs I had. So I'm going to boost up really, really small here. I think I use tech boosts, but I think I only use like a 10%, and I also will activate a health boost here. No? I don't. I forgot. That's crazy. Wow, I don't think I've ever forgotten to use one of the boosts. But yeah, all of the fights are really, really straightforward. If they were hard whatsoever, I would have boosted big because I think I have like 11 or 12, 30% boosts right now. But yeah, this first node on path 8, section 2 is a spider ham. So I could have taken this with either Warlock or Quake. It doesn't matter. But I knew I wouldn't take any hits with Quake, so I'd save some potions. Warlock still has 2 fights left, and Quake only has 1 fight left after this. So I'm not too worried about it. I've quaked Spider Ham 2 or 3 times in war before. I've quaked him on Masochism, Encroaching Stun, and then I've also quaked him. I'm blanking on the last one, but this is the 4th time, I believe, since he's come out that I've taken him. And Quake's just an excellent counter for him. Quake and Venom pretty much completely shut him down. He can't really do anything. Roblin as well, great option. But pretty straightforward Quake fight, not too much to say about it. He does have decent physical resistance, actually, because he's a science champion, but it's not unbelievably high. I think it's probably around like average in the game, and I think he goes down right here. Yeah, so he does go down there, and that makes us drop the heavy. So let's go into the next fight, which is a little bit of a weird fight, but it's a solid counter, and we have Aegon on this node. So this node has Rich Get Richer, so whoever has more buffs is going to be gaining power. Warlock has a permanent armor up buff, and the buff on Aegon is going to be the Fury. So at all points in this fight, we are going to be tied and no one's going to be gaining power. I also had someone check just to make sure this person is running willpower. So I could have done this fight very easily without it. It was just to be safe. But yeah, every time we hit him this fight, we're going to be getting a weakness debuff on us, which is only going to go away once our special attack ends. But you guys can see 30 seconds in, he's going down pretty well. We throw our L2, and now we're ready to get off some heavy attacks. We get 14k heavy attacks, 12k getting those weaknesses, but we're still doing really nice damage. The bleeds are still taking him real nice. And this is the only point in the fight where he has more buffs than me, because he actually gets his combo shield right there. So he has a second buff for a little bit, but he was infected and he had debuffs on him, so he was actually losing power still. And yeah, 1 minute into this fight, and we're gonna take just a few hits just to be fair. We don't want to beat this guy up completely. We have to take a few hits. And yeah, this is actually my only fight with Warlock that I use a special attack that's a special, or like that's not a special 1 or a special 3. I think it's the only fight I used a special 2 at the end. But I have tech boost on for this. I don't know why, because I knew the special 2 would be doing no damage. But I think I throw a few special 3s in my last fight, which is with Warlock, and I don't think it gives me much power, maybe like a 1/10 of a bar or a 1/5 of a bar at most, but I guess they did something. And they came back in the store the next day, so I'm actually full on them again, so I don't even mind. But yeah, very easy fight, just a 2-minute fight, and he's going to die right there on that medium attack. So what may not look like a great counter, as I do believe Doom is the best counter, is still completely capable of taking it down. So now we have these right side minis, and on this first node is a Hulkbuster. This is just a rank 5 Hulkbuster, but I am going to take a few hits in this fight, so you guys are going to see that. This is on Vigorous Assault with Enhanced Regeneration, and there's not too much to say about this. It's a bad placement for Hulkbuster. I don't really understand. Usually we see Hulkbuster on either Rage or Polka Dot Power, Stunning Reflection, but I guess here is fine too. I guess I don't know. I think it's a bad placement, but whatever. If they're gonna place it here, I'll Quake it. Yeah, like all these Quake fights, they're really similar. I don't really know what to say. Actually, while this fight's going on, I will say something. So I have 10 fights this war. I originally had 11, and I was Quaking MODOK on node 47, which was the mini boss right after I took down Aegon. So the powerful from afar kinetic, and I have quaked MODOK on that node before, and it went perfect. It's a very easy fight, but the person I sent on path 9, section 2, they had a champ available for them, and Run, who was on path 7, his last fight with Apocalypse was the kinetic aspect of evolution node right before the mini, so I decided that JK, who was on path 9, would bring Horseman Archangel, and then Run would make his Archangel a Horseman by putting the pre-fight on MODOK, backing out, and then JK went in. And then JK went up, and he actually took down Arcus on Rage and Dead Widow on special or Power Focus 1. But take a look at this. Processing, I'm like, okay, I have to parry. So I parry, and then at that exact moment that I go for the parry, he gets his regen buff. Looking back on that, I don't know why I went for the parry, because I knew that as soon as my Aftershocks ended, that he would lose the regeneration. And next time I Quake Hulkbuster, I just won't parry to remove it. But at the time, I thought it was a good idea. It was not. And now we're going up to our next fight. City took the Man-Thing on that node. What is it? It's Stunning Reflection, Polka Dot Power. He took it with Mephisto, so that went really well. And now we have this Mr. Fantastic on Limber and brute force. And this is a very easy parry heavy fight. It is going to take a while because Mr. Fantastic does have pretty good physical resistance. But it is very straightforward. I think right there, that's the only time we get brute force on this the entire fight. So I am going to throw a special 3 just to heal up some of that block damage, and because there's absolutely no reason to throw L1 or L2 in this fight because it will do basically no damage to him. But this guy is also running willpower, so those bleeds that we get on him, and also sometimes we're going to be activating Resonate, I believe, on the heavy attacks. But yeah, they're just constantly power draining him. You saw right there was Resonate. And then I I got a second infection, or a second or third. I think it was a second one. So we throw an L3 just to get a bit of regenerations and power drain, a little bit of damage. Yeah, weakness, special 3, that does nothing because we're just not going to throw it again. But it's not like you throw Warlock's SP3 for damage anyways, so that's cool. We're getting a lot of heavy attacks off here. It's going really well. There I could have gone for another heavy attack in the corner, but because I have that 1 debuff on me that's stacked twice, I don't know if it actually counts as 2 when it's the same debuff twice, but he does have a 15% chance to evade me, so that is the only reason that I did not throw a second heavy, because I knew there was at the very least a 15% chance. I think it might stack with the same debuff, but I'm not sure. So probably a 30% chance for him to evade. But yeah, I'm just not about that. And I'm just parry heavying him down, and the fight's over. So there we go. Very, very nice fight, 95%. And we end with that L2 just for the swag. But yeah, that is actually the end of this war. So I had 10 fights today. And then Floatin went in and he soloed this Dragon Man boss, so awesome work to him. But we did end up losing this war. We had 2 disconnects in the first 40 fights, and we just lost all hope after that. And around 80, 90 maybe attacker kills that we had died, I think it was 5 times at that point, and they had died once, and they were at over 100. And then I woke up the following morning and they cleared their last fight. They were at 150 and they only died 2 times, which is unbelievable because the last time we faced them, they died 4 times. We died 3 and we beat them. But at that point, at 5 deaths, we just completely gave up. And I don't know if anyone boosted for the last 40 fights. So we died another 7 times, 8 times. Or wait, no. Yeah, we died because all of our disconnects were at the beginning. But yeah, we still get number 1 MVP spot. I didn't show that there with 10 attacker kills, but that is, I believe, going to be it for this video. Yeah, and that makes us 0-1 on the season, so not starting off the season great, but that's all right. We got a little bit of an easier matchup next war, so hopefully we can win that. Our death total is 0, of course. We didn't die in this war, and our PSR is 10 out of 10 with only 10 fights today, 100%. And carrying over the 28 streak from last season, we are on a 38 streak of deathless fights. But yeah, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.